How to lose less HP or survive better when fighting mobs and bosses in Throne and Liberty. To do this, you want to focus on these three important defensive stats. These are your defense and evasion number values and your max health value. Your three defense values are melee, ranged and magic. This is the same with your evasion values, again melee, ranged and magic. For the sake of being an ultimate defense guide, melee is anything within a range of 1 to 2 steps away from you. Range is any projectile attacks, and magic is usually any elemental projectiles or elemental area of effect attacks. In the early game and early chapters, you will want to focus on both melee and ranged defenses more than your magic defenses. For max health, we will go over towards the end, but do know it's just as important. Now, what you want to do is increase the values mentioned whenever you find yourself losing too much HP against certain mobs. However, it's also important to note what increasing these values to a higher number actually does, as understanding this will come in extremely helpful for whatever combat scenario you're in or for whatever map location you're currently finding tough. So higher defense values will mean you will take a reduced amount of damage. Here's a quick example of this. We have no gear equipped, and so our melee defense is lower than usual. We're taking 190, 180 damage and 380 damage from a charged purple. Here you can see that our health has fallen below 50%, so if two of these mobs were attacking us, we would have dropped. So now if we put all our gear back on, we increase our defense value, and so we take a reduced amount of damage of 250 for the charged purple attack and 120 for its normal attacks. Again, this is a big difference, especially when two or more mobs are attacking you at the same time. These increases in defensive values are what makes the difference on whether you're losing too much HP. Your evasion also adds to this. Evasion value is your chance to successfully evade the attack, also known as to dodge the attack. Again, the higher the evasion value, the higher the chance to successfully evade the attack. This means if an attack was successfully evaded, instead of being hit for 350 melee damage, your successful melee evasion will instead fully block the attack, and so you will take no damage. Again, this is super important when fighting two or more mobs and versus mobs who are extra strong, like the Deathless Knight and higher level mobs. If your melee evasion for these mobs isn't high enough, you will be tanking a lot more attacks. Combine this with having a low melee defense, then defeating this mob becomes extremely difficult. Also, there's a high chance you'll be fighting two mobs at once. Knowing all this, you're now an expert in these two defensive stats. You're also now able to realize what armor defensive stats you need when losing too much HP. For choosing your armor gear, you want to know the following. All armor gear will have a white number defense buff value, so you don't need to worry about this value as much. However, for the evasion buff value, we are more limited. The way to get this buff is by hovering over items to check the extra buff values located below the defense stat. Choose the buffs according to how you want to build your defensive stats. I would recommend having your evasion stats slightly higher than your defense, or a balance between both. Side note, if the extra buff shows as green, it means it's a new buff. The red number buffs are the current buffs on your equipped item. Moving on, the last thing you'd want to know about armor buffs is you also have traits on them. These traits can get you more defensive stats, known as trait buffs. So for traits, you want to know the following things. The first is, what are the chances for the trait buff you want? Here, each armor item has different chances for a trait buff. You will want to know what these chances are, so head over to the gear crafting merchant, click on an item you want to view, and then click on this icon here. As you can see, here are the chances of acquiring the traits. You should also know that all trait items start with one trait. To unlock the second trait, you need the same armor item with another trait on it. Once you have one, go to your equipment enchanting page, hit the traits tab, click the item you want to work on, and then click the unlock button here. Finally, unlock the trait with some gold. For now, I wouldn't worry about trait conversion, as it's likely you don't have trait stones. Side note, advanced guide for traits coming soon, check the link below. Once you've crafted all your armor gear for your character slots, you next want to use your growth stones in the equipment enchanting page to further increase your defensive stats. Getting all your items to green level 3 will make a huge difference in your defensive number values. One last thing for your armor gear, don't forget about armor health buffs too. This is a perfect time to move on to your max health value and its importance. So your health is needed when you fail to evade an attack, as this means you will take the full 350 melee attack damage because you didn't successfully evade it. Combining this with strong high damaging mobs along with a multiple amount of these mobs means you would want a good max health value, so do not underestimate its importance. Finally, the other defensive stats are endurance defense, heavy attack defense, and crowd control resistance stats. These, however, are more for PvP and endgame, so I wouldn't worry about them until you're further into late mid game or PvP focused. So now that you know exactly what you want from your armor gear, check out this video which explains how to craft any armor you want at all rarities, also explaining the best and quickest methods to get the crafting materials to craft them. Or finally, you can also check how to get blue armor and weapons as quick and early as possible instead. Finally, for a valuable bonus tip, you can get defense consumables and you also have quick access healing options. For healing when fighting mobs, use these quick access healing methods. If you're unsure about these, check the link below as these are very helpful. For your defense consumables, one example is called meat and onion soup, which gives 150 defense value for all attack styles for 15 minutes. This should be used in stronger map locations or if you can't upgrade your gear anymore and are still losing HP too quickly. Reason being is you only get a limited amount of them. They are obtained via progression as rewards. Two examples are exploration codex mission or events.